So, the Chaos Medicine Wheel. This is about the 12th video, 10-minute video cast on the Medicine Wheel. And not the Medicine Wheel, on Chaos Shamanism. And I'm coming down to a particular form in a way that I haven't so far. And that's going to be interesting. So I don't want to, it's easy to get the idea, particularly if you're a bit rebellious, that this is all about being above the forms, about the restrictive forms. You know, we're beyond that, but it's not like that at all. It's the opposite. It's about being able to go into the forms more deeply because we're approaching them on a level of experience rather than on a level of ideas. So an example of that, if I go over to astrology for a moment, the sun and the moon, they have all particular meanings and they're in the books according to the stars behind them and all the rest of it. If you're doing astrology reading, just let the sun be with you. You can feel the sun because we know the sun. We experience it. We experience it with you. Then it's as if it'll speak through you. And yes, you have all your intellectual understandings and they contribute, but there's this other thing that speaks through you. So it's more that sort of level. It's in us. It's also a bit divinatory. We move on to something divinatory when that happens. Intuitive knowledge. Things we have no reason for knowing. We just know that we need to say them. We know that there's some kind of truth in them that we would probably never insist on. So we're inspired by tradition, but we're not beholden to it. That's how I began. We're deeply in tradition. We understand the medicine wheel, the pipe ceremony, the sweat lodge. We appreciate them. We love them. We love to do them. We love to be part of them. We love to be part of the community that happens when we do them. Or the trance dance, whatever else it is, or giveaway ceremony. But there's that gap, which enables us to be with the real meaning of it, rather than worrying about whether or not you're doing it in the right way. I was around a guy from South America, a traditionally trained guy, and we built a sweat lodge, and we needed a few leaders of them. We needed to have several sweat lodges. I said, "Will you do one?" And he thought about it and he goes, "No, I'm afraid I can't. My tradition won't allow me to because it's not built in the right way." And it's like, you know, I don't quite know what to make of that. I'm not going to disrespect it. There is something in really holding to a tradition and really doing it exactly as you're meant to do it. It has all sorts of layers of beauty in it. It has all sorts of layers of honoring what's come before, honoring the ancestors who created it. It has all of that, and that's beautiful. But so you want to be able to do that, but you also want to be able to step outside and just go, whatever. I know the essence of what this is about, and sometimes we need to leave the past behind because it becomes the past. It becomes a hindrance. So, in a way, I do know what to make of it. Yeah, when needs must. Yeah, you drop all of that. You don't just not run a sweat lodge when you know you could do something that would help people. There's a saying by a guy called Jim Tree, who wrote, he's a Native American guy, and he wrote a book called A Sacred Pipe, I think. It's all about pipes and ceremonies. And he's got this kind of combination of saying, yeah, really do it with respect, really do it with tradition. Yeah. But also I want everyone to be able to do it. Yeah. And how you achieve that, I'm not exactly certain, but that's what he said. But he also came up with this thing, if it works, it's real. If it's real, it works. Yeah. And I think that's a really good principle. Yeah. So this guy could have run a sweat lodge. He could have done a really good sweat lodge. Yeah. It just wouldn't have been the way he was taught. But he knows perfectly well that you need to just get people in there in a kind of sacred way and get them praying, get them connected to the stones, all of that, you know, you just do it. Yeah. So, I yeah, it's an interesting dance, this one. So, Chaos Medicine Wheel. That's what I'm slowly circling around and coming to. I may well do a series on the Chaos Medicine Wheel. It's an interesting exercise. It's more than an exercise. Because how do we use the medicine wheel? Coming at it from a chaos point of view. Well, we need to start with, well, what is it getting at? What it's getting at is about becoming a balanced human being, balanced within ourselves and balanced in relation to the world around us. That's its purpose. That's what the Native Americans will say. And so, providing we can hang on to that, not just understanding, but feeling, yeah, then we'll be able to do it. Then we'll be able to approach it in a way that works and that isn't rigid and that keeps the original purpose. Being in balance. We talk about being whole, and that maybe emphasizes the individual as autonomous, because that's how we are in the West. We value the primacy of the individual. Maybe overemphasize. In a way, that came out of Christianity, yeah, Protestant Christianity. You could see it was a rebellion against Catholicism, yeah, that where only the priest can have a hotline to God, so to speak, and that's a way of keeping people under control. And Protestantism goes, no, everyone has their relationship to God. We all have an individual relationship to God. I'm not a great believer in God, the Christian God, but you get the point. I'm more a great spirit sort of guy, or great mystery, or something. Yeah, the unknown. But there is something of value in that. We all do need our individual connection, but it goes too far. And one way in which it has gone too far is that we forget to value community as well, and the world around us, the natural world. We don't value that as we need to. We don't respect that as we need to. We easily get out of balance with that. So, and not just the natural world, but the community around us. So, in a way, if someone is ill in a community, then that affects the whole community. And so that person needs to get well for the sake of the community. The community's ill if one person is ill. And the whole community will be there to help that person get well at the prayer ceremonies, whatever. This sort of stuff works. So Indigenous people have an experience, if you like, of the individual as relational as much as they do as autonomous. So that's worth thinking about. Yeah, we get so het up about our identity. There's a good example. There's a guy called, I can't remember his name now, but he's a Native American guy. He's a Canadian law professor. He's written a book called Drawing Down Law. And he says, let's take abortion as an example. We frame it in terms of women's rights over her body. It's like, okay, that works. I respect that. Yeah. Let's not argue the rights and wrongs of that. Let's shift it to another framework. Yeah. Where you have a community and the father is held to account. He is pushed into being responsible. The mother gets a lot of support from women because people are much more networked. What happens? You get a lot less abortion. Yeah? So that's what can happen when you shift from the individual as autonomous to the individual as relational. Things happen in quite a different way. And it doesn't make one of them right or one of them wrong. Let's forget about all of that. Let's just be pragmatic. If it works, it's real. If it's real, it works. Okay, let's see what happens in the next one.